Hi and welcome to today's video where I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about cybersecurity culture. Yesterday I was keynoting at the University of Kent Cybersecurity Forum, and in my keynote I briefly referenced security culture, and a couple of people over the lunch came up and asked some questions about it, so I thought I would just take a minute to talk about it today. It didn't surprise me yesterday that it was a topic people were interested in, because culture has been on the agenda of cybersecurity much more over the last couple of years. In fact, at this year's Club CISO Live Vote, we found that security culture was the #1 hot topic that the CISOs were interested in, that they were thinking about for the next 12 months. But a lot of people actually will often ask me, what do I mean by security culture and what impact does it actually have? We know from a lot of work in organisational culture that an organisation's culture has a big impact on its performance, and this can be everything from market performance to staff retention. So if we think about it like that, we can really understand that if a culture has a big impact on how an organisation is going to perform, then of course it's going to have a big impact on security. Because organisational culture is all about the values and the norms that make up acceptable behaviour in an organisation. So what makes up acceptable behaviour when it comes to security? If you have a positive security culture, what you're more likely to see is people, engaging in good practice, people reporting incidents, people being active when they're doing their cybersecurity awareness raising training. If you have a more negative security culture, what you're going to see is people finding workarounds to some of the policies and processes that are in place. You're going to find that people are less likely to report incidents, that they don't feel so excited about awareness raising training. And a lot of times a negative culture comes from how the organization behaves. So for example, if someone comes to you and reports a security incident, how do you initially respond? Do you initially respond by kind of telling them off for the incident itself, or do you respond by thanking them for reporting it? Because if we respond by telling people off, and if we really heavily punish them, and if we don't acknowledge their good practice of reporting it, then what you're going to see is a culture whereby people are more likely to hide incidents. Another example of how culture influences security practice is if you have the dev team and the security team working together to find the best way forward, or if you have a security team that's kind of seen as the department of no by the dev team, and so the dev team are finding workarounds. So there's lots of ways in which your culture will impact your security posture. And there's lots of things you can do to positively influence this. So for example, one thing I find to be really successful is developing a champions program within an organization whereby people who aren't security professionals represent security in their department, their business unit. This is a really empowering way of bringing about a positive security culture where it brings security closer to the business and can give a kind of friendly face. So if you do that in the right way, you will see a more positive culture start to develop. This is the kind of thing that I love to talk about, so feel free to get in touch if you have any questions or comments.